Hello, it's John Alford here on Facebook Live. Also, I'll probably download this and share it to my John's Motorcycles, Music, and Money YouTube channel. Driving, I'm just going to take advantage of the time that I'm going to be spending commuting a little bit this afternoon to share some information with you, and it's related to my post yesterday about financial literacy. And, people as prominent as the founder of Blackstone Investment Group, one of the richest people of our generation, self-made billionaire, I believe he is, if not multimillionaire at least, very multimillionaire. He came out in an interview a few days ago and mentioned that our retirement system, and yes, motorcycles are going to be going by me. I'm in my car, not in my motorcycle, being able to filter or lane split, whichever you want to call it. But he came out and spoke during the interview about one of the realities of the modern American financial system is our ability to invest in equities. But what that has also done is since the advent of the 401k, there's been a major shift in retirement planning in the U.S. from a defined benefit system to a defined contribution system. The challenge there is defined benefit. The way most of us think of that is pensions, like many of our parents had. Military members still get if they serve a full career. Law enforcement, firefighters, school teachers and school administrators, school staff, most those folks get pensions. Many of your unions still have pensions. But for the remainder of the U.S. working population, they no longer have pensions, and they are, on their own to build a retirement plan. Now, there's been some changes to the laws on that. Defined contributions is what most of us know as 401ks, 453bs, the thrift savings plan that the federal government and military have. There are other plans. This is what we call the alphabet soup bucket. Well, the challenge there is, there are many challenges, but the two that he talked about is, the first is that puts the full responsibility on the individual or the family, unless they want to be reliant on Social Security. And Social Security was never meant to be the only part of your financial plan. He uses the stool analogy, and Social Security at best was supposed to be a leg on a three-legged stool. More importantly, probably leg 4 between getting and staying out of debt, saving money, paying off your house, investing, and then Social Security as the last resource. Unfortunately, most people, especially as they get older and if they outlive their retirement savings or didn't have many retirement savings to begin with, they rely on Social Security exclusively. And I don't know if you've checked those numbers lately, but Social Security in most parts of the country has you living very close to, if not below, the poverty level. So relying on Social Security alone is a terrible strategy. The reason so many people default to that strategy, getting away from the whole argument on do they have enough income to be able to save adequately for retirement. He didn't talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that today. But what the real challenge is, and what I wanted to talk about today, is the absolute lack of financial literacy, education, and training in our education system. Now, that is not universal. I believe there's somewhere between 8 and 13 states now that require some financial literacy classes, but that is usually a one semester, 1 quarter class, either in late middle school or high school, when we should be getting financial literacy training across all aspects of our life. I know we do some in the military, but if we're going to say that the individual or the family is responsible for their long-term savings and financial strategies, their retirement, and we do not do any education, that's a real problem. And what this gentleman again, one of the most prominent financial minds in our market at the Blackstone Group said is that's coming home to roost. More and more baby boomers, and now our generation, the millennial, the Gen X, excuse me, that are right behind the baby boomers. We're all getting on up there in age. The whole idea that you couldn't touch your retirement savings until 59 and a half, that used to seem like forever for me. And now that's going to be next year, about a year and a few months from now. And I'm working with a young man, he's 22, and it's 59 and a half is impossible for him to grasp. But, so most of the baby boomers are now retirement age, or at least early retirement age, and my generation, and I'm the leading edge of the next generation, we're right there with them. And, I was fortunate. I received a small amount of financial literacy training and education, not necessarily in my home, but through a couple classes, after school classes at school. But the main thing was, I joked that I was a paper boy, like many of my friends, probably threw a million newspapers out the window of two different cars, and while I was in high school, and never read the business page. Took one business class through college, but it wasn't on personal finance. But when I was 24, I was referred out to a military-focused financial services firm. But by working with that financial planner, I realized I enjoyed it and began educating myself. And for a period of years before getting licensed, I read on average one money book a month. But most people don't do that, right? That is kind of geekish, I'll admit it. I geek out a little bit. I used to even read the inserts on how your credit card billing worked. And who does that, right, other than me? But it was quite educational, because you learn how they're going to charge you interest and how punitive that can be. And those things are just not being taught. There are some revenue avenues out there. YouTube has, well, let's be honest, YouTube has a lot of great educational videos on a lot of subjects, and then some that are absolute garbage, are not only opinion, but bad opinion. And the same thing in the financial literacy space. So, there's some out there. There are books that I've read that are now dated. There's some books that I've read that are universal truths. Benjamin Graham's book on investing and valuing companies, is considered a classic. And even though it was written almost 100 years ago, it's still very applicable now. Cash, the value of cash, the flooding of our economy with cash has changed some of the ratios, probably in his mindset. But again, if you used his ratios, you'd be more conservative and probably safer. You might give up some growth. But things like that, but that book will always be a valuable reference in my library, at least. But what I want to talk about is how the company that I currently work with, called Five Rings Financial, I have my own agency inside of that called the Alford Agency. What we do to get after this problem of financial literacy is we offer a number of free workshops. They're no cost. We offer these numerous ways. We're not the only group doing this, but I quite like our model. That's one reason I've become part of Five Rings Financial, worked with them for almost 10 years now. But we offer the two main programs are a Money 101 workshop. We do that a number of ways. We just had a live workshop last night here in California that we had standing room only at it. Actually, I stepped out of the event so that the guests would have an extra seat. And then I was back in there after our local executive vice president, Chris, was done presenting. But we had 45 guests there last night, and that just shows you the hunger for financial literacy information. And that workshop is also given on Zoom. We're doing that tonight here in about 2 hours. Another friend of mine, another executive vice president named Andre, will be presenting that class. We do that by Zoom. It's about 45 minutes long. That's not a dinner event. We haven't figured out how to send dinner through the TV like Willy Wonka quite yet. But the same great information. And then we also offer that as a streaming class. We've recorded some of these Zooms, and we refresh them to make sure the information is current and timely. And the beauty of this class is we teach the basics. This isn't, some high-speed technical trading class or momentum training, or some of the workshops you hear out there that really aren't for the basics, right? Those are more advanced strategies. This is the class that teaches you how taxes work, how compound interest works, the time value of money, and then some strategies that are available in the market to help protect your money as you grow it. So we offer those classes for free because we also understand that, whether people choose to work with us, they have a good financial plan on their own, they have a planner that helps them and they work with well. We know that also the chance to just get more financial literacy training out there is important, and as evidenced by that interview that I referenced earlier. The other thing we do, and this is actually a copyrighted event that Chris's wife Denise actually started. Now many of our ladies do it. It's called Wine, Women, and Wealth. And Wine, Women, and Wealth is a ladies' financial mindset movement and networking event. And the ladies get together. There's wine served at it, but you don't have to drink wine. They have mixers and water and non-alcoholic beverages, but they also have some finger foods. And in that's more, again, a networking event, but also it's almost like a book club, and they go through usually a book on money and how it's just funny, these ladies talk about it like, well, women react to their money emotionally and guys don't. And I'm like, I'm pretty emotional about my money, and I think most guys are. Maybe we don't show it as much, and we try to be more rational about our money, but trust me, we make emotional decisions about money just as much as the ladies do. But this is a women's event, and then we've had a couple derivative events from that called Coffee, Chicks and Cash. We have a Money, Mommy, and Me class that not only, and dads can go to that one as well, and the beauty of that class, not only does it talk to the parents about how money works, but it also shares some information about talking with your children with age-appropriate information about money. Because, if we learn good money habits from our family, we'll most likely be successful financially. If we didn't learn good money habits or good money mindsets from our family, we're going to repeat those, right? Like anything, we catch so much in the home that we tend to repeat without much thought. So, financial literacy is an important part of what we do, important part of my mindset on how I like to help people with money. I have an educational type personality, an educator personality to begin with, and that's a family trait as well. But, so I love sharing information, but I really, because of my own education about finances and what I get to do with Five Rings. So, I'll put when I post this onto YouTube, and later when I get back on Facebook, I'll put some links to go to a Google Forms that if you wanted to get some of that financial literacy education, you'll have a way to let me know your preferred method. I can share that with you, and I'll share some of that if I post this on YouTube as well. So just wanted to capture some of the time while I was in the car to capture these thoughts before too long went on. You always have good intentions about setting up the mini studio and recording something at home, but I've noticed that, we're already getting a couple days past when I saw that interview. So, I hope you've had an opportunity to get financial literacy training in your past, but if not, I'd love to share some of ours with you, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day.